folks, Russell Williams here, eXp Realty. Thanks for coming by. I really appreciate it. The one thing that I want to talk about in this video, really quick video, I'm not gonna get long-winded on this one, but the one thing that I want to talk about was reasons why your house didn't sell. And when I look at my local MLS, I see a lot of houses that are getting relisted, and you're not having much success in getting the house sold. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the top reasons why your house didn't sell. And what happens is when your house doesn't sell, you're getting a lot of calls and maybe some paperwork about people saying, I can sell your house, I can sell your house, I can sell your house. And I'm sure that you've been represented very well by your realtor. And that's why I'm not asking for your business in this video. I'm just giving you the top 10 reasons why I think your house did not sell. And the most important, or the number one reason why most houses don't sell in this market is because the price is too high. And, I think most people know every corner of their house, but sometimes you don't really understand the market value for your home. And so I think when you look at how houses are selling, 70% of them, for example, they're not selling because primarily overpriced. It's not because of how well the house looks, or if it's the only one in your neighborhood that's up for sale, or if you did custom work to the house. 70% of the time, houses are not selling simply because of price. And in this market that we're in right now, in our area where there is a ton of inventory, price is going to definitely be a factor. If you have the time to wait for the right person to find the home, then I think that would be great. But remember, the longer your house sits in the market, the longer it ages, the more people think that they can probably get a really good deal on it too, right? If your house has been in the market 350 days, you probably won't get the same offer as if you got an offer when your house is on the market for the 32nd day. So you want to make sure that, a good example is if your house is $200,000. That's the price point we put it at. We listed it for $200,000, and in your neighborhood or in your area, the houses are selling. The time on market is about 15 days, and after the 15th day, and you haven't got a lot of people looking at it, then typically what happens is your price is too high. And so I want people to really understand that I know you love your home and you're personally involved and invested in it. But unfortunately, the people that are coming by and they're looking at your home, they're looking for the best real estate deal they can find. And so the things that you have nostalgia about, the new owner may not have nostalgia about, right? And so that could be one of the primary reasons why your house doesn't sell. The second thing is that it's probably too personalized. If you walk in your house and you have this really adorable clown collection, and everybody loves your clowns. You got clowns from all over the country, from your travels. You love them. You got them on the dressers and in the kitchen and in the living room. These really adorable clown figurines. And people come to your house and they see all these clowns laying around your house. They may not want to buy your house. Not saying that it's a clown show, but I'm just saying that the same, again, nostalgia that you have for your home, a buyer, they can't see themselves living in your house. And the biggest thing about showing someone a house, showing a prospective owner or a prospective client of a real estate agent that comes in, we are trying to get them to envision themselves living in this house. And if they can't, because the only thing that they can see are these clown figurines, and for some of you it's going to be elephants, and for some of you it's going to be turtles, and for some of you it's going to be, maybe globes, but any type of figurines, again, anything too personalized will cause you some hiccups, right? People have to be able to see themselves living in your home. And if they can't see it, then you're probably not going to get the offers that you want. So the best advice I can give sellers is if you're going to put your house in the market, all your personalized things need to be put up during showings. And I know people don't like going through the work of taking down family photos and taking down, Matt and Pat or Patricia and Brian forever that's on the wall. But again, objectively, you have to understand that we're trying to get people to realize that they can live here. And if they can't see past your pictures or your personalization, what they already have to put into this home, then 9 times out of 10, they will not buy it. And, the same thing goes for cleanliness of the house. I will tell people when I do a listing appointment that, if we're going to list this house, it got to be really cleaned up. You know what I mean? You cannot have so much clutter to where people just don't want to walk through. And so, what we need to do is to make sure that really a lot of the personalization of the home is taken down, and making sure that the house is decluttered. And a lot of people may not want to tell you that, but it could be the primary reason why your house has not sold, right? You cannot have a bunch of stuff laying around where people cannot walk through the kitchen, or they can't walk through the halls because you have clear totes stacked up with stuff in them. And you're okay with it being there every day, but for a prospective buyer, the house just looks cluttered and they can't envision themselves living there, which will make when people come to view your house, they'll view it very quickly and leave and say no thank you. Even if it fits their financial criteria and the bedroom criteria and the bathroom criteria, they just cannot get themselves wrapped around how cluttered the house was. And I think the fourth most important thing is that your house is not updated. Listen, if you're asking somebody to give you $250,000 or $100,000, and you're still sporting fixtures from the 1960s, your house is probably not going to sell. I know that there again are areas of the house that have a bit of nostalgia to it. Oh, this is a chandelier from the first owner of the house, and it's just a cute, really nice antique chandelier. Some people do not want antique things in their kitchen. They don't want antique things in their house. And so I would always encourage you to, if you can't make major updates to a room, there are very small things that you can do, like updating the faucet on the sink. Right now they have the ones that you can bend them over and use it and spray stuff down. Even if you don't want to replace the entire sink or the entire countertop, there are small updates that are relatively inexpensive that you could do that definitely could add value to what you're trying to get, right? Because a lot of people, they'll say, I don't want to update the house, or they can't update the house. But there are small things you can do by, again, taking away some of the personalization, making sure that you do some small updates. Like, you may not be able to replace the entire tub, but you can replace the faucet head and the 2 knobs at the bottom. You can make sure the tub is as sparkly as possible. Those are little things that you can do so that people can, again, see themselves in the house. And as somebody who primarily represents buyers, I'm telling all sellers, people really judge the house based upon what they see. We want to, as a seller, if you want to put your best foot forward, you want to make sure that your house is as competitively priced as it looks, right? And just because somebody ran some comps and said, well, I think your house is worth $150,000, if it's not updated, if it's cluttered, if it's messy, if it's in disarray, I promise you, you will not get offers for $150,000. And so, if you're not going to make the updates that, would call for those, my recommendation would be to drop the price if you're not going to do that. So take those things into account. And then, the one thing again, is bad staging. And we've really talked about this a couple of times, even in this 9-minute video, is you want the house to be clean and airy, even if you don't want to, if you got ripped up sofas in the den, because these are the most comfortable couches for watching TV, that some of that stuff just has to come out, right? It just has to come out because people will judge the house based upon what's in it. And I know it may seem like, well, I'm going to move it all. It doesn't matter but buyers can't see beyond what you already have out. And that's why there's a whole industry called staging. People go in your house and put furniture in there that does not belong there or does not belong to you, so that people can see the house in a fresh new light. And so the other thing is that if you got walls that are really, deteriorating or need a new coat of paint, all these little things, going to get some paint and hitting a couple of these walls that, they got handprints and smudges and gene stains and, jelly on the wall somebody dropped one day. If going by and, going up to one of our hardware stores and grabbing some paint or grabbing, and to really just paint and clean that trim work, I guarantee you will go a very, very long way. The last couple of things really are really simple things that I can get through, I think, in like 3 minutes if I talk pretty fast. But if you see your house listed on the web, right, your house should really be everywhere. Most realtors now, when they post it in one place, your house will get picked up by a lot of different websites. So it's not something very special that we have to do. There's nothing special or romantic about how we get the houses to MLS. Most people will pick that up from the MLS system. But if you see your house online and they're like 4 bad, blurry pictures, people are going to skip past your listing because your house is in a row of hundreds. And if you have poor photos of the outside and you have bad angles on the inside, you're probably not going to get as many calls as you would if somebody took the time to take high quality, HD photographs of your home. You really want to make sure that if you see your house listed not in the most spectacular of way, that you find a way to fix that. You want really good photos, and possibly, especially since the pandemic, you really want to make sure that your realtor can do a video tour of the house or a video walkthrough that can be uploaded as well, where people can actually physically take a tour of the residence without ever having to leave the comforts of their home. And then, the other thing is curb appeal. You go look at a brand new car, those cars, I don't care how many times they have sat outside or how long they've been outside, they're still normally pretty shiny. That's because they wash them right where they sit, because they know that nobody really wants to walk up to a dirty car to buy it. So the same thing is true when it comes to selling your house. You want to make sure that you have a really good curb appeal. If the grass needs to be cut, let's get somebody out there to trim that up and get that cut for you. If the house has a little mildew on it, let's get the power washer out and power wash down our houses, driveways, make sure everything looks clean and neat and tidy. It goes a long way, especially when you have multiple people coming in to look at the house, like an appraiser, like an inspector, like potential clients or homeowners, home buyers that are driving by and see a for sale sign in the yard. Really work on your curb appeal. It's going to be super important to getting your house sold. When we pull up to a house, a lot of judgments are made right there in the driveway. You know what I mean? And you have to think about when you go to a friend or family member's house and you pull in the driveway and there's bikes all over the place and trash, and you're like, yeah, what they doing around here? They need to clean up the outside of this house. That is the same way your buyers will pull up, and they will make a lot of decisions on whether or not to buy this property if it looks just a mess. And then most of us here in Southwest Mississippi, or a lot of us in Southwest Mississippi, live in rural areas. And these are really tough locations to really get people to. Because if they're not used to living a country lifestyle, most of our houses are outside of the city limits. Some of them are within. But that would really be considered a tough location unless you have people that really want to live outside with well water and septic tanks. And you all know what I mean by those who live in rural Mississippi, that this really could be a cause that keeps your house on the market for a little while. However beautiful, however priced correctly, houses in our MLS don't sell in 15 days majority of the time. So we want to make sure that 1 through 8 that we've done, because we know that it's going to be, if it's going to be a tough rural location, that it may sit for a little while, and we want to be prepared for that. But we want to put our best foot forward while we're trying to wait. And then 9, listen, the time of the year that we list your house is so important. A lot of times you'll see a lot of houses go up for sale in October, November, December, and I'm here to tell you that people don't move in the winter, even though it's not cold here. Not often. Those are slower times of the year. And then what happens is your house will probably typically, or your property will sit probably into the spring months. Until it's warm outside and people are really looking to buy some property. There, a lot more is going on in the spring and summer months in Mississippi, and so a lot of houses, don't get sold in that time frame. And so a lot of times they'll put the house up for you, and about time the buying season starts, your house is already 90 days old. It's been on the market for, 3 months, 4 months before the real house season starts. So if in the event that your house does not sell the first time around, really look at your timing to make sure that when you list your house again, that it's listed in the correct time frame, right? So you really want to list in the springtime when it's, if it's possible, right? Because sometimes choosing to sell your house is not, it doesn't come really, for some people it may not be exactly when it will be an ideal situation, right? But if at all possible, outside of that, if you're selling mom or dad's house, or you're selling some family heir property, or you're I would list in the spring summer months. I think that would be the best time. And sometimes when you take it off the market, you want to wait 30 to 45 days just to reposition it so that it pops up as a new listing. And so, think about that before you just automatically relist. Think about timing. You may still want to go with the same realtor because you have a great realtor and there are a ton of them out here. And so just talk with them and see if that's what the market may really allow, or maybe a better time to list the house. And then the last and final step, always save for last. Sometimes the reason houses don't sell, you ready? Drum roll. Difficult owner. Yep, I'm pointing the finger at you. I'm pointing a finger at you. It's actually a highlighter, so it's not really a finger. Look, I'm sure realtors can probably relate if they watch this video, where you have a seller who is difficult, because at the beginning, they're like, I want to sell my house for $500,000. We know, as being market experts, looking at trends and staring at MLS all day long, because that's what we do, right? We sit in front of our computers and we're searching MLS for our clients. We're searching MLS for data. We're going to multiple different websites. We're watching stock trends and market prices and interest rates, to seeing when they're falling on a 30-year fix or a 15, and trying to let clients know when the optimal time to buy is. And so a lot of times we are really good market experts, and we may know that the house is not really going to be pulling $500,000. But because you think you put that brand new kitchen in there that was $20,000 10 years ago, because you think that doorknob is really fancy, or these hydrangeas really add value to my house. I got the deck in the back that we put on 3 years ago. My nephew put the pool in that's above ground, and there's a shade. Everybody looks at value differently, and you have to understand as a seller that all the time value is going to be in the eye of the beholder. And for a person who represents, buyers more frequently than sellers, and look, hey, you want me to sell your house? Call me. But when I walk into houses and I'm seeing areas of improvement and reasons why some houses don't make it off the market, you have to understand that the people buying the house are looking for the best for their money, and what you see as a value add to your property may not be a value add to a potential buyer. And so it's almost selling your house, I would equate it to almost getting a divorce. Sometimes you got to just let things go, right? And I don't mean by any means sell your house for nothing. What I'm saying is what you may see as value, somebody else may see as normal, right? And so the love that you've put in your house, and the way that you've treated it, and the way that you've loved on it, could be the primary reason why you can't get your house sold. And so there has to be a level of detachment and understanding that you're reselling something, just like a car. We do little small things to our cars. We tint the windows. We may add some sparkling tires on there. We may add a great sound system. But at the end of the day, when you go to trade that car in, they're going to be looking at the functionality of the vehicle, and that's what they're going to make you an offer on. It's not going to be because of the big mud tires. It's not going to be because of the 2-inch lift or the 3-inch lift. It's not going to be, the house is not going to sell for more because you've done some alterations to make it look better in your eyesight. So my encouragement to you is to do a little detachment. Make sure that your house is resellable, and remember these 10 great steps. Make sure that your price point is something that can work in a tough market. Make sure that your house is not too overly personalized, and make sure that your layout is good. Step number 3. And step number 4, make sure that if you have not done any updates, that you do some small updates that help. If your fixtures are from 1960, you're not going to be in a great position to sell. So make sure that you get some of this stuff updated. Make sure your house is staged correctly, clean, neat, orderly, and a lot of that personalization took down. And then make sure that you hold your realtor accountable for really great photographs. You are marketing your house. That is what realtors do. We market property. And part of marketing property is making sure that the property looks good on the internet, because 70% of home buyers start their home shopping process online. So we want to make sure. Matter of fact, here in Southwest Mississippi, 70% of all people who start buying their house go to Zillow. So if your house only has 3 pictures and you're asking $449,000, it's probably not going to get that many phone calls. Again, if your house has poor curb appeal, make sure you get your grass cut and spray the house down, clean the brick off, clean the windows. Make sure that house is as marketable as possible, because we want to get that house sold. And then remember, if you're in a rural location or a very tough location, it's going to take a little bit more time to sell, and be patient with your realtor. But again, make sure that every step, 1 through 7 is done, because just being a tough location, there are plenty of places where you can go and you can find a really great property. And then market timing. Remember that if your house does not sell, make sure that you look at when you're listing that house. You don't want to list it if you have a tough market, or in a rural place, or you don't want to make any improvements. Timing may be a factor. You may want to wait until the spring months, tax returns are out, people are getting bonuses from work, year-end bonuses, so they'll have a little bit more money to play with. They may be okay with doing some improvements, but you would want to list that sometime in the springtime, where people are, out and about and feeling a little bit better. It's not cold outside, and people are looking to make some really great investments. And then number 10 and final, don't be the difficult owner. Don't be the person standing between you and the sale. Your real estate agent may bring you a offer from a client that is a little bit lower than what you want. And you really need to look at, time, and whether I'm prepared to wait to get that offer. Because you may reject an offer thinking that if I give it a couple more months, I'll get the offer that I want, and that offer never comes. And so now your house is on the market 90 more days, and you're going to continue to get the lower offers if you have not done the things that are needed. And remember, I know you love your house. I know that you've invested in it. I know that you've raised children in it. But just like anything else that goes for resale, people are looking really, truly, buyers are looking really, truly for the best for their money. The most updated houses, the best looking land. They want everything to align when they go buy a house. And what you want to do is make sure that we put our best foot forward. So in the event that your house did not sell, those may be 10 tips on why it did not, 10 things you can do to make sure that you're not stuck not being able to sell your house. Again, my name is Russell Williams with eXp Realty. Thank you for stopping by. God bless. Take care.